Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Friday night. I'm just chilling. Let's do a video. I'll tell some stories tonight. I got all kinds of game to spit at you guys for the study group for warriors that we'll do on the weekend. I'll just tell some stories. Maybe there'll be a lesson in here. I don't know. Talk about Skinhead Paul. I've talked about Paul before, a couple different videos. Skinhead Paul has been a longtime friend of mine. He was a very well-known skinhead in the Washington, D.C. area. He joined the D.C. Skins mid-'80s. I had known him since we were 10 years old. We were in like 5th grade together. And he was a terrible friend. He got me in so much trouble. I don't know why I was so loyal to Paul. But I would forgive him when nobody else would. My brother hated Paul. Hated Paul. Most people did. Even the DC Skins didn't want him. He tried to crash that crew. They didn't want him. He had to repeatedly, over and over and over again. They finally let him in. For some weird miracle reason, I don't even know how it happened, because Paul was crazy, insane crazy. He got a girlfriend. Somehow got a girlfriend. Everybody was stunned. Like, nah, not Paul. You ain't gonna get a girlfriend. What kind of chick would put up with a guy like that? He's nuts. Violent, unpredictable, backstabbing, a liar, cheat, thief. Oh, he did the dirtiest, most fucking janky shit. Somehow he found this chick pretty. She was cute. But they had one of these on-again, off-again relationships. So they were off again. Me and Paul were hanging out on a Friday night one night. He wanted to go and find his girlfriend and maybe talk her into going back out again. Back in these days, this was the 80s. Movie theaters on a Friday or a Saturday night would pop off. They would be crazy. Packed. And it wouldn't just be a bunch of people going to see movies. Of course, it would. I mean, that's what people are there for. But it would be people, hundreds of people out in front, hanging out in front of the movie theater, in the parking lot, just chilling. It would be like a party. And it wouldn't just be one theater in my town. This is all the theaters on a Friday night, everywhere in America. Another thing that would pop off on a Friday night would be roller skating rinks. Roller skating rinks were a big thing, and they turned into like discos on a Friday night. And back in the 80s, breakdancing was big, and you could go to the roller skating rink and it would be like a total disco. Remember this movie, Beat Street? That's what it would be like. That one scene in that movie where it's the New York City Breakers against Rocksteady Crew, and they have that battle in that big nightclub. I guess it's the Roxy. Skating rinks would pop off, but movie theaters would too. And this movie theater we went to was down in DC near a subway station, and everybody knew that one was a particularly crazy scene on a Friday night. Lots and lots of chicks and people from all over the area. There'd be groups of people out front. The parking lot would be full of people just hanging out by their cars. Then they had a park across the street, and the park would get packed full of people. People would drag kegs of beer down and have keg parties in the park. Me and Paul, it's a whole other story, side story. We went down to that park one time and we stole, strong-armed, a keg off of a whole group. It was like a giant group of frat boys or whatever they were. We stole their keg, and they're just sitting there like, oh man, don't hurt us. We took their keg, just me and Paul. We go up there to find his girlfriend. We wander through some people, and he finds her, and she was not taking him back this time. I mean, they were on again, off again, and they may have eventually gotten back together after this at some point, but this night, on that night, she wasn't taking him back that night. And he kind of thought that she would. Like, okay, that's enough now. You know, forget all this silliness. We're going back. Come with me. And she's just like, fuck you. So Paul's mood, he was like a roller coaster with his emotions. He went from being super happy and goofy and in his playful mood to being angry Paul. And And when he got angry, he wanted to fight. And Paul was pushing this skinhead image a little too hard, if you ask me. I mean, he was always boots and braces, always pushing this line, this skinhead thing. He was like a super skinhead, not just a regular one. And when he got angry, he kind of turned into this super skinhead. And his posture changed, and he wants to fight anybody who even looks at him wrong. So we're walking through, on our way out. Who knows what we're going to go do? Maybe go get some dope or something. And as we walk by this group of guys, a group of guys that I knew that are standing out front. These guys are all big goons, big steroid monsters, big, giant steroid goons. And they were all a couple years older than me, and they're a little mob of dudes that I looked up to and had known well. And I liked those guys, and I wanted to stay in good standing with them. And I knew them really well. There's Harold Woods. Anybody who is from DC that knew Harold has a Harold story. Harold was one of the most notorious gangsters that I'd ever run across, at least at that age. I mean, as I grew up, things changed, but when I was younger, man, Harold had a reputation that went on throughout several states. Everybody knew about Harold. People had the wildest stories of Harold. Everybody's heard the story where Harold had the Uzi and chased the guy down in the shopping mall with an Uzi. Harold was crazy, man. He's big. He rose to like the state kickboxing champion or in the ranks. He was a power lifter, would bench press ungodly amounts of weight. So he's there, he's got his little groupies, and Boo he eventually went to prison for murder. But this was before Boo caught his murder charge, and Boo was notorious. When Boo caught his murder charge, he said in his quote, they had a quote in the paper because they had a little article about him because he shot some people just kind of at random. I mean, he might have known them, but it wasn't a beef or anything. And he said in the quote, because they asked him, why did you kill those people? And he said, I just wanted to show everybody what kind of real deal motherfucker I am. That was it. That was the reason why. Just wanted to show people how tough he was. So Boo was there. Anthony Jenkins was there. Oh, rest in peace, Anthony Jenkins. I can't even tell Anthony's story because I'll start crying. Oh, it's so sad. To this day, it's been so long. To this day, I miss Anthony. He died, unfortunately, but this was back when Anthony was still going. Anthony was dominant gangster. These guys were all real deal fucking hoods. Josh Flood was there, and Josh was the one that got into it with Paul. I don't even know how. Paul's like, fuck you, motherfucker. And I'm kind of over a little bit talking to somebody else. Paul thought I was standing right behind him. Paul says, me and Sky will fuck all you guys up. Let's go right now. I hear that me and Sky shit. My radar goes up. I'm like, what? I see him going at it with Josh Flood. Josh Flood is this big giant goon. I'm like, oh no. What are you doing? I try to calm Paul down, and he's like, come on, you know. Like, me and him are going to fuck this guy up, these group of guys up. And I tell him, this isn't happening, man. You can't fight them. Anthony Jenkins looks at me with, like, genuine confusion and concern and says to me, Sky, are you with him? And there's, like, this long pause, and Paul's looking at me. And I'm looking at these goons that I know, that I respect, that I look up to, that I have hung out with countless times, and these guys show me love, and I want to keep that relationship going. They've been nothing but nice to me. And then there's my homeboy, Skinhead Paul. Known him since I was fucking 10 years old. But he has been nothing but trouble. He does this kind of shit all the time. We're about to get our arms and legs broke, possibly shot. For what? Just because I have to have his back because his girlfriend Didn't take him. Oh, this thing is a nightmare. So I'm sitting here thinking about all of this, and everybody's looking at me, and this is pause, and it's like we're waiting for your answer. Are you with him or not? And I back away. Paul's like, let's go to war. I back away. They surround Paul. They stomp that motherfucker into the ground. It wasn't the first time Paul had gotten his ass beat. Wouldn't be the last. He was tough. Paul was a tough motherfucker, but I did not have his back. I didn't have his back. I let him catch a beat down, and I just figured, you know, I mean, I can't be involved in this one. You fucked up this time. You fucked up this time. Sometimes when you fuck up, there's the lesson. I didn't know what the lesson was until we got to the story. Sometimes when you fuck up, you have to pay the price. You have to be punished. You can't fucking skate out of it. Your little friends aren't going to save you. You fucked up. You got to pay. It just is what it is. Thanks for watching.